Hey!
Hola!
Freeze frame. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 25 of the Abstract Sports Podcast. Man, we've been doing this for a long time. Well, I have, but Mike has been here for 3 weeks now. 3 in a row?
Trips.
He's got trips going. But welcome to episode 25. This is Abstract Sports, where we bring sports back to life. We look at sports from abstract yet popular angles. You know, those underlying storylines that people don't really think about. That's what we're all about, trying to be original. But I'm Kyle Richards, a.k.a. Tater Deluxe. This is my boy, my co-host Micah Brown, a.k.a. Microwave.
Like popcorn.
Like popcorn.
Like popcorn.
I like that. Every week you should just do like an intro thing where...
Like burritos.
What do you do in the microwave?
Heat up your water.
I like that idea. I'm like yelling in the mic. I can see it blowing out over here. Try not to like... Ooh, it's raining outside.
Raining.
Nice. But we've got a lot to talk about today. There's a lot of stuff that's happened in terms of, you know, articles we've posted, things in the sports world, obviously, that have happened, but also some developments that I've been really racking my brain on how to make this podcast and this stream better. And I mean, you're kind of seeing a lot of it right now.
It's flashy.
It is very flashy now. It's classy, but it's also fun and popular. I think that's kind of what I want to go for, because sports are very much that. They're always in, they're always current, and so I want to have a nice design of the stream that's kind of on the same level of what, you know, modern design should be, or not modern, but I mean like new-ish looking.
Hip. For the kids.
Hip, yeah.
Several flame emojis.
Fire.
Fire.
But if you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook or Twitch, you know, wherever you're watching this right now, you may have seen an intro video. You heard some music, a very different look in terms of everything. Basically, after last week's podcast, I hit this point where I'm like, you know what? This needs improvement. And so I spent a lot of this week just like revamping all the graphics, and I feel really good about it. But there's still room for improvements. For example, we are going to be bringing a soundboard in. It's not going to be an actual soundboard. But
effects.
Yes, sound effects. It's going to be great. We'll probably have a John Cena button on there. We're probably going to have a crowd applauding for when those cool things happen.
John Cena is all we need.
Just John Cena.
Just John Cena.
You can't see me.
Just an image across the screen.
Yeah. You can't see us. No.
It's John Cena. That'd be pretty funny.
Just before the podcast today, we watched a video of all the John Cena mashups that people have done.
It's pretty good. It was pretty choice.
It's a good one. Oh my gosh. But anyway, so yeah, we've obviously made some visual improvements to the stream. I'm like blowing out the mic still. I talk so loud. Why?
Boom.
But I have a lot more ideas going on in my brain, guys. Like, for example, I had this idea today where we could do these things called like pop-up pods, where like Mike is skeptical, and that's fine. I need you with me to do this though, because it's going to be so weird as one guy. I'll have to warm him up.
Here I am. I'm just a guy sitting here talking about stuff,
sports and things. But I like this idea of going around to different areas in town and putting on a show. Maybe getting a banner printed, putting it up in the background somehow. So like people at this event or wherever they are, it's meant to be like around where people are so that they see what's going on. So it's like a way of doing some active marketing. But we're still doing a podcast at the same time. It might be a shorter one since we're out in the elements, and, you know, rain could really damage everything we have going.
It's a little expensive.
It could be an expensive outing if the weather turns bad. But I think it's an interesting idea. It's a good way of getting more businesses. And Ingrid says you guys are nerds.
That would be my wife. Is she with you?
I
know she was flying in, and she come over.
That's awesome.
We'll wait for your reply here in a minute.
We are nerds, but you haven't seen anything yet, guys and girls.
Nothing.
Microwave. Like, what are you doing in the chat?
No, She's watching from my computer,
No,
which is signed in on me.
Yeah, that's fine. But before the show started, I was like, why are you in? I don't see your phone out right now. How are you in the chat? That'd be another good sound to have. Like the UFO.
Or the...
that show.
X-Files.
X-Files. That'd be a good one for like the mysterious things that happen during the stream.
Hi, Ingrid.
Hi, Ingrid.
Hi, Ingrid.
How you doing? Sorry.
Ingrid likes sports. Ingrid's pretty sportsy.
She's sportstastic.
Not very sportsy at all.
She just likes those who sport. Yeah. Bros. But I like the idea of the pop-up podcast because it gives us a chance to like go to it, like put on an event at a local business or like a farmer's market thing. We can get the local people involved, and that'll get them interested, get them following the page, following the podcast, and then when we make it big and we're rich, then
feel free to donate.
Yeah, click that donate button.
Donate.
All the money goes back into producing great stuff for y'all, and that's facts. That's not even lying. So there's that, and I think all these ideas are coming at a pretty good time because the winter months I'm pretty dormant. I stay inside, play video games, and work on the things that keep me occupied when I can't be out hiking and going to sporting events in real life.
It's quite cold here.
Yes, it gets very cold here in Idaho. Plan to make it to some basketball games in Salt Lake, but those are indoors. So
thankful.
But yeah, so a lot of those improvements will probably come in the spring and the summer. I also have ideas of putting together like a 3-on-3 tournament for charity or something, which would be really cool. Like have a bracket put together, people register, get as many people out. Maybe go like to where Melaleuca Field is, the Highland Park. So it's like an outdoor community event, get everybody together, but also good marketing for us. So,
Hoops for Hussies.
Is that your team name?
No.
Oh, okay. My team name is probably going to be the Tater Gang.
Tater Gang?
Tater Squad. That's kind of mine. It's coined as mine.
Everything tater. Kyle is all things tater.
Yes, potatoes. I'm a potato.
I'll be the kitchen utilities. The appliances.
Gonna apply some blocks on your name.
Yeah. Micah Wave and Jacob Oven. I don't know.
Micah, a.k.a. Becca, right now on the chat says, "Yay, sports." Yes, that's pretty much how our viewers are. They just watch us because we're good-looking and nerds, not because of sports.
We're pretty.
So, I have a lot of prelude stuff, but it's because I've been really thinking. But beyond all the thinking of improving the podcast and stuff, my bowling league started this Friday. And
Week 1 of what, 30?
A lot.
It's a lot of bowling.
Yes, it's a very long league. I think it's 36 weeks maybe.
That's a lot of bowling.
It basically carries all the way through April. If that, Friday from now all the way till April. That sounds about right.
That's a commitment.
It is also, it's monetarily a commitment, but also, time. But the good thing is it's on Friday nights for me, so I don't have to worry about, Friday nights are meant going out, doing things that are not work. And at this...
What? You get trashed while you bowl then?
I don't get trashed, no. You saying that's what I do in my free time?
Well, you could. No, just really when you bowl. There's a bar.
That's true. The beer lady does come around. It's hard to resist. But I try to stay at least sober enough to be able to throw a ball down the lane without looking like an idiot. But, there's those days. I maybe have one day a year where I'm like, one beer less and I was fine, man. What are you thinking?
your cheat week where you just go ham?
Yeah, it's my cheat week. But yeah, so bowling started. It's on Fridays, so it makes it something to look forward to at the end of the week. And I actually have something to show you guys.
I was unaware of this.
Giggity goo.
Just kidding. I knew what he was doing. No surprises here. So, in case you don't know what bowling is, this is your tool. This is the ball you use to score ball points. It's a really heavy ball, unlike a light ball. It's heavy so that you can knock down these objects down at the end of the lane. The lane being, the straight thing. You try to avoid the gutters. It's kind of like a street for this ball, you see. For you foreigners out there that don't know what bowling is.
Nobody knows what bowling is. Well, the thing is...
What is bowling?
everybody hates bowling. That's the thing. Like, there's this entrepreneur guy I watch, and he's like, you know you've given up on all your ideas when you join a bowling league and a softball league, and that's all you do with your spare time. And I'm like, not when you run a sports blog, you dick. But seriously, though, like, bowling is sort of a dying sport, and this would be a good time for Jacob to come in and spit some facts, some random ass facts about bowling.
Jacob.
He's probably not there with the girls because just always being Jacob. We talked about him in 3 episodes. Probably doesn't even know.
He doesn't know.
Shows him how much he cares about what we do.
I feel like bowling is just a way to pace yourself for drinking.
It is that way for a lot of people.
It makes you put down the beer for at least a minute.
See, for me, it is definitely a socialization type of thing. Like, I go because a lot of my good friends, and even my brother bowls in my league, my dad bowls in the league that's next to ours in the same bowling alley. So, and like a lot of my good friends that I grew up with, and their families, their little families they have running around, they're all there. So it gives me an excuse to go hang out with them when I don't really get to all the time. Drinks are involved, but we're also competing against each other at the same time. Which
drinking?
No, not competitive drinking. No, but those are for non-competitive. Competitive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's not a scorecard, but you're competing.
It's friendly.
Friendly, yes.
Friendly competition.
There's not money involved at the end of it.
Just pseudo bragging rights.
Yes, exactly.
I beat you at bowling, but did anybody really win?
No. But so it's a really good time, and my first week back was not good in terms of my scores.
You're knocking off the rust.
Yes, still, like, I worked my way up to it. I'm actually going to share a link in the chat, and for all you ladies and boys in the chat, ladies, I'm going to share this link with you. You should give it a clickaroo.
Clickaroony.
That's my story of my first week of bowling and how it went. But just to give you some hints, my scores were 104, 128, and 163. To some people are like, oh dang, 163, that's crazy.
It's an incline. Kept going.
Yes, it kept going. Like,
kept going.
Almost a constant. No, not quite. It went, not quite exponential, but got an up curve.
It's not logarithmic, that's for sure.
But it didn't start out very good. Like 3 gutter balls, almost a sub 100 game. Pretty brutal and embarrassing. But my average is 164, so I worked my way up to just before that. So I'm hoping on this Friday I can go out there and bowl like a 600,000.
Flex on some fools.
Just flexing. Because, I bowl a 15-pounder, so I got to have one gun at least.
Whoa, big dog.
Just one gun. But, yeah, that's a bowling ball. Want to see my spread? See that? Nice. And it makes cool sounds. See, listen. Woo-hoo!
This is where we're at. Episode 25. This is
episode 25.
This is what it's become.
But hey, Twitch is a different answer. No, it's
animal?
not different animal.
Animal.
It's a monster of an animal.
We like balls.
You gotta be a little more colorful on Twitch, in order to get people in here. But
in blue.
Let's see here. What was I gonna look at? Oh, I was gonna look at this. Okay. So there's the article. Give it a read. I didn't do that great. But also I did notice that our local bowling alley, they shared my post on Facebook, which is really cool.
Shout out.
Shout out to Bull Arrow Lanes. That's not a paid advertisement. Go give them some business. Bowling's a dying thing. They have a full bar.
Yeah, if you need a reason to drink,
and if
go bowling.
If you like to do silly things with your friends, you can go on a Friday or Saturday night, rock and bowl. That's a pretty good time. Music, neon lights, darkness. Drinking if that's your thing. It's a good time. But yeah, so that's all of the prelude stuff. So I guess bowling could have technically been its own sport, but I put it in there because there's an article involved.
Well, if esports are sports, then bowling is by default a sport because it involves physical movement.
And it's competition.
It's a precision, specialized sport. Exactly.
And in that article, I make some pretty awesome comparisons to other sports, too. So, give it a read if you haven't already. But, so, going from that, we're going to talk a little bit about some some different stuff. So like it's still football, but we're going to talk about some high school football.
It's a big week.
It is a huge week here in our town and probably for a lot of places all over the place because there's only so many football games in a season for high school. But this week is like rival week. I don't know if Bonneville and Hillcrest have theirs. I think they already had theirs like last weekend. So anyways, this weekend we're going to go to this high school football game. I haven't been to one since high school, I would say. So like 7, 8 years. But this one is called the Emotion Bowl, and it's this Saturday, and there's quite a history to it. I'm actually, if you want to spit some facts, do you have any? Like he went to a school that was involved in the Emotion Bowl. So
I did. It's between two schools here in Idaho Falls, Skyline High, my high school, versus Idaho Falls. It's been going on for like 56.
That's what I was going to look at.
57, 52.
Since 1966.
Since 1966. So they've played a total of 52 games. This will be 53. Skyline leads the series 30 to 22. Yeah, 30 to 22. They're currently on a 3-game win streak.
So
not 3-game win streak, 3 Emotion Bowl win streak.
So 2014 through now.
Yeah, so last time Idaho Falls won was 2013. For me, I would like to see them win because when I was in high school, they won my sophomore year, and then just got beat the rest of the time. They weren't very good. But should be favored this year. The Emotion Bowl is often praised as one of the top 10 inner-city rivalries for high school sports. It's not the biggest, but it's one of the most historic, most praised inner-city rivalry.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, with 50-plus years of history, that's huge. That means like your parents and your grandparents were involved in that.
Born to hate a certain school.
Yeah.
The Air Force comes in and does their whole rivalry high school. They put on a show, pretty much.
They do a thing.
Yeah.
Cool. But one thing that makes a rivalry is sort of there's a lot of pranks and a lot of like subliminal messaging in the things that they do preparing for this game. Like I remember my high school rival game is called the Civil War. It's between Bonneville High School and Hillcrest High School. That'd be the Bees against the Knights.
Knights?
Not sure who would win in that battle in real life, but
depends on how many bees.
But one thing that we would do for Civil War week is, it's basically a spirit week all week where you wear your school colors and you can get like raffle tickets to win things if you are wearing the colors every day, like different things like that. Kind of teach you to support a team. I think that's a pretty cool thing they do in high school. They rally around their sports even though it is an extracurricular. But one thing we would do is we'd get a car from the junkyard, and there's a student group that would paint the car in like all of the rival team's colors, and then you could donate money to like a certain cause. Like there was like a certain cause that was tied to this event, but you pay money for raffle tickets, or not raffle tickets, but minutes that you get to use a sledgehammer or like your weapon of choice to bash the car. And so like the person who donated the most got to use a sledgehammer and go through the windshield.
Ooh.
So little things like that sort of like expressing your hatred for this other school, even though it's, you probably know people that go to school there anyways.
It's okay to hate is what we're teaching you.
Yeah, it's okay to hate, but
it's okay to hate.
Not people, just things that resemble them or symbolize them.
It's okay to hate different colors.
I do not condone this message. But
you know what I mean.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But IF and Skyline have some pretty ridiculous things that have happened too. One thing that I've heard in the past is people from Skyline, and I'm not painting all of the Grizzlies this way.
I didn't do this, but it did happen. So
there were people, immature high school students who, because Idaho Falls is the Idaho Falls Tigers,
kitty cats, yeah.
They went and rallied up a bunch of cats, like stray cats, neighborhood cats that are like outdoor cats.
Not even stray cats. People own these cats.
Cats that people own, and they would hang them from trees.
Even the goalpost, even, and they killed the cats first. So
yeah,
pretty
pretty bad. Don't do that.
Don't ever do that. That's obviously that's a huge crime.
Yeah, it's taking the rivalry a bit too far.
Yeah, way too far.
Like, it doesn't have to be friendly, but don't go killing things for it.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And like, just because you're a rival school, it means all it means is you go to the same district, and so it's just natural for you to play each other and make a big deal out of it. But high school students take it a bit far. I mean, even college students do. See Idaho Vandals and Boise State Broncos. There have been some stories there that went out of control. Gauging gadgets, dude, you have some nice web design skills. Your site looks great. Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate that. That's me. Man, I don't know how long that chat was sitting there.
It just popped up.
Oh, did it? Maybe that's why I looked over there.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that, man. I worked hard. It is what I do for a living. So I'm glad that I'm getting good feedback on it. But yeah, so bad things happen in high school and college rivalries. Don't do those things. Just because it's a rival doesn't mean you have to hate those people.
Don't be a dick.
I mean, you can root against them, but be a good sportsmanship about it.
Yeah. Make a nasty sign.
Yeah.
Yell profanities at them without children near. Anything like that. But don't kill my cat.
Yeah,
man.
Seriously, I have 3 cats. And I live near the stadium. Like, please don't.
Yeah. You can probably do without one of them, though. We
won't name names. But, I mean, high school sports, going along the lines of talking about what you should and shouldn't do, like conducting yourself as a person at those crazy times in high school. There's a lot of importance that come with high school sports and really high school in general. But since this is a sports podcast and blog, we'll talk about the importance of high school sports. For example, I mean, I played basketball in high school, so I know a little bit about that. I played 1 year, and then I dropped out. Or didn't drop out of high school. Whoa, that took a big left turn.
He went to college.
I graduated college, too, so I didn't do that. I played 1 year of basketball, and I decided to focus on my grades because I knew that that's where I was going to be successful, is focusing on my grades so I can get more scholarships to go to school. Anyways, high school sports can teach you a lot about, like, being organized, time management. A lot of times you have to go into school early for practice and stay late. And then, like, multitasking with your important things. So you have to have your homework on priority, obviously. But you also have this other thing you're trying to develop at. So it teaches you to chase multiple goals at once, which I think is really important. You learn faster that way. But the big thing about abstract sports is we talk about the intangibles, and organized sports reveal a lot of those intangibles within us. And so, like, when I played high school basketball, I realized how much of a competitor I was and how much I really wanted, like, I hated losing with a passion. Hey, Gauging Gadgets, thanks for the follow, man. Appreciate that. Hasn't come through over here yet. I wonder why that is, but wow. Thanks for the follow, dude. We appreciate that.
There's supposed to be a graphic that you see.
What in the world? Why is it not working? Twitter intro clip. Nah. It's there. Huh. That's weird.
There it is.
There it is.
There it is. Nice.
See, we're seeing the chat. He's probably seeing that at the right time.
True. There's a delay.
Yeah, so
15 seconds or so.
So I hope the timing of that was right. We'll have to go back and double check. But
yeah, there you go. Yeah, nice.
Yeah. Thanks, dude. That's awesome. But yeah, so there are certain things that you learn when you're playing sports. For example, the competition brings out the best in you in all different ways and shapes and sizes and forms. Like, you never realize that you're a good leader until you put yourself in a situation where you're faced with adversity and you're all competing for the same goal as a team. That you, like, start, like, calling orders to all your teammates around. You're getting them organized, and that's just, like, your nature.
Like, oh, Kyle knows what he's doing. Listen to Kyle.
Yeah, so, like, it creates camaraderie. You learn how to develop a skill. I mean, all different kinds of things, and it also teaches you a lot of discipline. You gotta keep your emotions under control in high school basketball. There's some kids that have temper tantrums, but like, there's so many different things you can learn from these sports. And so the fact we're going to watch a sports ball game this weekend, I'm going to be keeping my eye open for some of the things that people do in sports that relate to the intangibles. I think sportsmanship is going to be an important one. Where it is a rivalry game, you got to be rooting for your team, but you also got to have respect for the other team as well.
Yeah, they're putting in work too. They're not just showing up. They're trying just as hard as you are.
Yeah, and so like they
did 2 a day.
If a guy's injured, you don't go cheering because the guy on the other team is injured. Like, be respectful. If you are the guy that injured him, go over and be like, dude, I'm sorry, you good? It's just common human decency that should happen in this event. So I'm looking forward to seeing some of that. But another thing about sports in general, but especially in high school, is it's a big socialization factor.
Got your bonding, your brotherhood or sisterhood.
Yeah, whatever it is. Yeah. I mean, you're a team, and you're all trying to learn the plays. You're all trying to get wins. You're trying to do all the things that you're supposed to do in your position. But in the meantime, you're also like getting to know each other, making friends, and that put me in a whole different category of people in high school that I thought were like kind of better than me. They had this like vibe, but it taught me to like understand that they were just the same as me, and so that's something you should never think.
Yeah.
But like that's kind of how high school is. You're like, oh, the preppies, the goths, the whatever it is. They're all still people. And once you put yourself in a situation to realize that, it's really cool. But another thing that high school sports especially teach you is that they teach you how to lose.
Yes.
So
most of the time.
Speaking of that,
someone who never had to lose, Zeke Elliott, you pouty cowboy man. For those of you who didn't watch the game, Zeke Elliott and the Cowboys as a whole were dismantled, destroyed, had the poop pushed in by the Denver Broncos. It wasn't even close, and the attitude from their future star was less than desirable, especially, I mean, for any sport. He's trying to lead by example for the youngsters, and he basically just said it's okay to pout, it's okay to quit.
Yeah, that's a big one.
When things aren't going your way, and that's not okay. So I hope he's disciplined, but
yeah,
I mean this kid's won it all. He's won a national championship. He plays for America's team. They had a great season. He's done a whole lot, and one game doesn't go your way, and you throw a fit.
Yeah, and not to mention all the outside stresses he's having with his suspension that never happened.
Yeah,
and
I mean
the crimes he allegedly committed. Like,
yeah, I mean, if anything, you should be happy that he's playing the game. He can focus on one thing, and everything is good right now while you're playing football. And just because you're losing, you don't have to give up.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, I did see a lot of reports out there that were like, he gave up on his team, and I didn't watch that game, but I'm glad I didn't. Like, I don't want to see that.
Yeah,
that's not conducive to entertainment.
It was no bueno. And there's other teams in the league that are doing worse than the Cowboys. They just got beat by a really good Denver team. There's still teams out there that haven't scored touchdowns going into week 3.
The Giants?
No, the Giants scored touchdowns.
They scored? Okay.
Who is it? It is the
Niners?
Cincinnati Bengals and the 49ers. Yes, correct.
Okay.
The Giants are struggling, though.
They are.
They got beat bad by Detroit. Detroit's okay, but Detroit's not great.
That offensive line was not giving...
What?
Offensive line? Yeah, what offensive line?
Yeah.
On New York Giants?
Looking at you, Giants.
Yeah. Eli Manning was getting crushed in that game.
Yeah, they said Eli played a bad game, and I was like, well, you would too if it was basically you versus 11 guys.
Yeah.
Like, the receivers were dropping balls, the linemen couldn't block. It was... Nobody played well.
Yeah, that was one of those... I saw one play where he got sacked by like 3 people.
Yeah.
Like, they just barraged him.
Mm-hmm.
Not pretty. But, I mean, the Zeke, though, 9 rushes for 8 yards. He clearly didn't have a good game. So, you can't let that, like, affect your demeanor or, like, your... I don't know, you gotta be a better loser than that.
Yeah, it's not like you're on the worst team. You can't have peaks without the valleys. You're gonna lose. You're gonna have a bad game. Otherwise, nothing would be a good game. If everything was a good game, it's just your game. But now you've had a bad game, now you can have a good game. Like, chill, man.
It's just ridiculous. And the fact that some teams don't have touchdowns, though, that's also crazy.
Yeah, it could be way worse, Zeke Elliott. You had 8 yards. Granted, I had more yards because I went to the bathroom a couple times during your game, but, you know, whatever. So
Yeah, and you're making tons of money. Like, I understand
God. Tons of money.
a true competitor. I understand the fact, like when you're getting beat or you're losing, you're obviously not happy, but you can't just like give up.
Yeah.
And like when you're on the bench, you're like sitting there like looking all pissed off. Like,
He doesn't have the intangibles, Kyle.
he doesn't have the right attitude.
Yeah. No stars for you, Ezekiel Elliott.
0 gold stars,
0.
not even a bronze.
Good at poopy stars, Ezekiel Elliott.
But yeah, Zeke has never learned how to lose. Still hasn't. So maybe
it'll be humbling.
Maybe his next loss we'll see a better reaction out of him. But that's just something that kids who look up to him don't want to see. I mean, they probably don't know about the other things, but
We won't get into that.
Yeah, I won't get into that. I mean, he is an icon for these kids, and they see him on the football field. They probably don't see him in the news like we do because most kids don't follow the news.
Mm-hmm.
So when they see that, they're like, "Oh, that's okay," what's happening? Maybe I don't like him anymore. Or, It affects him ultimately. But then beyond all these other teams and players losing and struggling, I continue to struggle in fantasy football.
It's been a rough couple of weeks for you.
And I'm not used to this. I'm a pretty good loser though. Like after the first loss, I was like, I was getting a bunch of crap talked on me on the group chat, and I was like,
Mainly his dad.
Yeah, my dad and Jacob, of course.
Yeah, he did beat you.
Yeah, I did in good humor buy him a shirt that with a unicorn on it that said "I suck at fantasy football," and then he turns around and beats me in week one. I had offers of taking that shirt off his hands. I said no because this isn't my true self. Me losing. See, I'm coming out of like a really good league. This league that we're playing in now is a substitute league for one that I was very successful in, and I knew all the people really well. And so coming into this one, it's a different dynamic, and my draft didn't go nearly not quite as good as I wanted it to. But that's not an excuse. I have made some changes.
Had some injuries.
I have a full article written about my loss due to score adjustments. So
I won. I text him the next morning. You lost.
Yeah, that's exactly how it goes. So in this article, it's titled "How to Deal with Loss Via Score Adjustments."
How to deal with an overnight loss.
And literally in the article, I mention that feeling of victory is just so much sweeter when it was a close fought win.
Yeah, watching the game together, you sitting over on the couch, just, oh, no, end.
Yeah, and then so the game ends, and I go to bed, and I'm like, yeah, I'm feeling good. And I get a text from Micah, "Score adjustments got you this morning." And I'm just like, I wouldn't say it ruined my day, but I was like, that really rustles my jimmies. So that's how I lost. The next day, a 1.5 point score adjustment, both ways, got me. That's how close it was, but it was a good time.
I didn't even look to see who adjusted the score or
what
changed. Probably just some yardage.
Yeah, I didn't either. It's probably it's usually defense. Defense, they don't
a sack or something.
They don't get the yardage right on how many yards they allowed. But in that article, I do also mention that if I could have every week like that where it's really close, whether I lose or win, I'm okay with it, I guess, in the scheme of things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, I'd rather like to win half of them, lose half of them, or something like that.
Win all of them.
Win all of them is the way to go. But if they were all close like that, that makes it exciting to watch. It makes you really focus on the games and gets you into it a little bit more than usual. Especially for people like me who don't have a favorite team. I can't root for anybody besides my fantasy guys. But I mean, what? Why are you covering it up? This is
my precious.
Are you doing your favorite team reveal now?
No, it was revealed. We had a semi-plan.
He was going to be like, Micah's favorite team reveal.
No.
Yeah, with the Bulls theme song. I like it. Should be, I guess it is a banjo, Nashville. Twang, 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 twang. We can make that on a banjo. That would be legit.
My dad has a banjo.
There we go. Gauging gadgets. I think that's a message. Add IRL, and then your channel will show up in both communities. Interesting. Gauging Gadgets coming through with the
Dropping some knowledge bombs.
dropping the knowledge bombs. See, like Twitch is fairly new. I mean, I've streamed a few times here and there, but I don't know all the ins and outs. I just know how to get one set up and going and add the assets to make it look cool. But that's good to know. More exposure. I'm all about the more exposure.
We need to get this Gauging Gadgets guy in here.
Yeah, we might have to get him. Like, hey, what were you saying to do?
Excuse me, what?
Give me your knowledge again, sir.
You might write that down.
Yeah, I will. I can actually go through the stream. I'll copy this and paste it in here for future reference.
There you go.
Gauging Gadgets. Thanks for the advice, my man. That's awesome.
Do you have a favorite sports team, Gauging Gadgets? Might be a little bit of a delay.
Yeah, there's like a 15-second delay. It's crazy that it shows up as like an arrow. That must mean it's a message. See, that's how much I know this. So I don't yeah, see, there's the message.
Oh.
Right there.
Yeah, no problem. You can add them to 3 communities. This guy knows his stuff.
Awesome.
Atlanta Falcons. Hey, that was the game we were watching.
Yep, that was the game that gave me the score adjustments in the morning and screwed me over.
Your Falcons look pretty damn good. And I have Freeman on my fantasy team. 2 of my fantasy teams.
Yeah, I get all my leagues mixed up. I don't want to say anything and be wrong, so
I guess I should say both. I only have 2, so
I think I actually played Derek Carr over Matt Ryan.
This week
league.
that was okay.
I
don't think anyone would blame me for that.
Yeah, that was a good call on my part, but I went off the matchups, like Raiders against Jets, Falcons against Packers. Like, I think that was an easy decision for me, but
That new stadium, though.
yeah, that stadium, man. I feel like we should do a whole segment on the architecture and all the things about that stadium.
I don't even need to go. I'd love to go to game, but just to go on a tour or something.
That'd be really cool.
Crazy.
I mean, I wonder if they have a virtual tour. I know that like a lot of big companies and businesses will do like a Google virtual tour, and they can have a Google authenticated photographer come through and do a 3D visual tour.
Yes, it's amazing. Yeah, it looks that way. It should be for whatever $1 billion they paid for it. But it does look cool.
It does have a big name on it, too.
Yeah.
Mercedes-Benz. But my favorite thing is that they have like over 150 original commissioned artworks on the premises that were like made for this project. They're not like replicas or copies.
They bring them in.
Like the big one is that huge metal bird out front.
It's a big metal bird.
It is awesome. 2 new stadiums in Atlanta in 1 year.
Yeah, the Braves got a new stadium, which
Dang.
I heard that was some political drama because the Georgia Dome wasn't that old and Turner Field really wasn't that old compared to other pro stadiums. So, but Turner Field was converted to a football stadium for Georgia State. Yeah, they knocked out some of the outfield, but heard it was some political drama as the infrastructure of Atlanta suffers and they build new stadiums. So
interesting.
I mean, it's the new Falcon Stadium's great, but and they moved out of it. Oh, they did.
Lots of drama.
Glad what I read was correct. There's not a whole lot of drama here in Idaho, so
no, there really isn't.
Really not. Bunch of bandwagon fans for Seattle, but whatever.
I get called a bandwagon fan for the Lakers, but
nah, you've been with the Lakers. For a while.
I was like 10 or 11, and I've stayed there through the hard years. So
you're ride or die.
But I mean, Titans too. You jumped on at a pretty cool time.
It was like the first football game, first Super Bowl that I really knew what was going on because of my age, and I was like, I like the blue team, and there we go.
Beautiful state.
Idaho's gorgeous.
Yeah, I've been all over Idaho at this point, like every corner of it.
Yeah,
but
especially going to school. I'm trying to think. I haven't spent a whole lot of time in the Frank Church Wilderness at No Return, but
I probably haven't been there either. I haven't been in. I guess that's Salmon, right? Salmon area.
Salmon. I've been through it, but
I've never been there either. That's the one spot, like right in the middle. That's the hard part to get to. It's
Salmon or the Chalice. Well, there's no roads.
It's trapped in between mountains. That's pretty much what it is.
It's just all mountains.
Yeah,
really all it is.
But man, good talk. And Bigfoot, yeah, dude, I see him every day. He's in my backyard chilling right now. He's like doing this on the window.
3 in this neighborhood. So they make this Bigfoot spray that, attract him. It's the Bigfoot pheromones.
That's how you invite them over for dinner and just give them raw meat. Love that tangent, man. That is organic as F.
We do get wildlife in town. There's moose and elk. There was even bears in town a couple years back. There was some bears at my in-laws' house. Yeah,
that's crazy.
It's a wild state for sure.
You don't see that in the city.
Probably no bears in Atlanta, if that's where you're from.
Or near there.
But definitely no bears at that new stadium, that's for sure.
Yeah, they try to keep those out.
Hopefully.
Maybe the Bears will be there one time this year.
Well, if the Bears do show up, it'll be they'll beat the Bears, because Chicago's never.
It'll be a genocide of all Bears in Atlanta.
Yeah, get rid of the Bears.
They won't survive that week. Let's just put it that way.
The Bears are pretty bad.
Yeah. Where are we at? Fantasy football.
Yeah,
I'm still on the bottom of the power rankings.
Yeah, two straight weeks of bottom score kind of solidified your spot at the bottom of the power rankings. I jumped a spot.
Good for you.
3. So I jumped your dad. Undefeated.
Just catch him in an alley and you jumped him.
Yeah, undefeated, and potentially could move up this week because the top 2 teams play each other.
I'm just going to keep talking crap until it pays off and then be like, 1-12. Hopefully it doesn't. I don't go 12 losses without a win.
Well, it's unfortunate that it was your dad that you lost to this week, because he's the main and agitator, I would say, of the group. So.
Yeah, he has his experience in crap talking.
He's good at it.
He's got a BS degree. Zing.
He's got a BS and BS.
So a little bit of college football. I'll let you talk about that because I didn't watch any game besides the Vandals game.
Oh, yeah. Well, the thing to watch this week was the Clemson-Louisville game. Really didn't tell us much other than Clemson and Alabama are the top 2 teams, and everybody else is just
as expected
noise. If no one major gets injured, it'll come down to those 2 teams. Even with my dark horse picks from a couple episodes ago, it's Clemson, Alabama, and Alabama, Clemson, everybody else in the top 10, 12 feet of crap, and then everybody else. So,
and then the Vandals like underground.
Yeah, Vandals are.
Oh man,
they're worse than we thought they were going to be. Like, we knew it was going to be a downgrade, somewhat just because of the receiving corps, but they are bad.
So bad, and it's not like they're having troubles from week to week kind of thing. It's like there's a serious problem going on somewhere.
There's been some regression. It looks like maybe the coach is losing the locker room a little bit, or they lost some leadership from some of the seniors because it's low effort.
Very low effort,
it's
especially
bad.
from the UNLV game last week.
Yeah.
That was really bad, or 2 weeks ago.
Which is weird because they did so good last year, and they won their bowl game due to effort.
Yeah, all effort.
Yeah, it was all effort. They were outmatched physically, so it's kind of a shock to go from winning because of your effort to just
thinking you run the place or just not caring.
Yeah, if any team should never be able to feel that way, it's Idaho.
Yeah.
You haven't earned anybody's respect. Like,
yeah.
Come on.
You have a long ways to go.
yeah, you're not even the best in the Sun Belt.
There's some teams out there that don't even know who you are or what state you're in.
Iowa?
You're in Iowa, right?
Gauging Gadgets. There's a shirt they sell here that's the shape of Idaho. It says Iowa.
It's
pretty funny.
It's a very common thing.
It's all too real. People are like, that's a weird shirt. I'm like, no.
Like we're making a trip to Kansas City here at the end of the month, and
That's next week.
That is next week.
It's like 9 days away.
Woo-hoo-wee! I'm blowing out the microphone again. Sorry, I get excited.
Sorry, guys.
But I guess it decibels out. We're safe.
Oh.
But I think that when we go there and we tell people like we're from Idaho, they'll be like, Iowa.
Is that corn or taters?
Taters. I should wear a shirt with a Tater Deluxe picture.
We should have got the Iowa shirt and just all wear them as we walk around and just
just confuse everybody.
This is the Midwest, huh?
Like, I don't know if Iowa's Idaho or Idaho's Iowa anymore.
It's really flat around here. There's no mountains.
It's like the whole earth is flat. Maybe that's why they think that.
Kyrie.
Idiot. He's got Jaylen Brown thinking the earth is flat now, too. Stop educating the youth. You're not meant for that field. Neil deGrasse Tyson needs to learn you a lesson.
Black Science Man?
Yes. That's the one.
Black Science Man.
But yeah, Vandals. We played Western Michigan, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's who you are.
Yeah.
And we went up like...
It was like 28 to 12 or
6 or 12.
it was a 2
two
possession game at least, and it was in the fourth quarter. And
then I showed up to the party, and that's pretty much where the Vandal party stopped.
yeah, ended up losing up by at least 2 possessions in the fourth, and then lost by 2 possessions. That's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's very bad.
You're doing something wrong. You're getting out coached, and you're getting out hustled.
You can feel the falling apart happen too. There's a
Yeah.
couple plays where you're just like,
Well, that wheel came off. That wheel came off. All the wheels are off.
and we're downhill with no brakes.
Gauging Gadgets, do you have a favorite college team or college sport?
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah.
I'm actually not a big college sports guy. I think I've mentioned that a few times in the podcast and the stream, but
Let's get some chit-chat going.
yeah, I agree. But like I follow the Vandals because I have a connection there.
Alma mater.
The only other connection I have that I can remember would be like when I was younger and I was watching Kobe play and stuff. I remember seeing Steve Blake play for Maryland, and he was like really good in college, and he came out, was a pretty good draft pick, and he eventually joined the Lakers, and I'm like, that guy looks familiar, and I looked it up, and he's like from Maryland, and for the longest time as a kid, I was like a Maryland fan, and just because of that guy.
Gauging Gadget says none.
I don't know if that was from earlier or not.
No, because he had the ha-ha. No, yeah, it is none.
He was talking
The
about
Bears.
None
Bear.
Bears in Atlanta.
None Bears in Atlanta.
But we'll see if his chat comes through. I'm curious to see what your team is if you're from the Atlanta area. There's a lot of teams over there.
Yeah.
But let's talk a little bit about NBA. Speaking of flat Earth things, Kyrie's the first guy on our list right now for NBA topics.
Tar Heels.
Hey, it's Charles. Hey, Charles, how you doing, bro? Glad you're here. How do you like the look? Is it looking all right?
Is it clean?
Is it sexy?
Spicy. So I hope you're just showing up because we kind of hated on your Bears a little bit.
Yeah, we were throwing them right in the trash.
Yeah. Sorry.
But I do have their new running back, Tariq Cohen, and I'm rooting for that man.
Didn't he fumble again?
He did fumble again. He only got me 4 points as well. But Charles says on Twitch, doing great. How are you guys? I'm digging the Twitch. Very nice.
Very nice, Gypsy. How much?
Give me your tears, Gypsy.
Did you see the intro? The intro's pretty dope.
Yeah, we had a sweet intro. I could play it again, but then I'll have to edit it out later. So you should just show up next week on Wednesday.
They're really bad receivers.
Need receivers. That's the big spot for the Bears. That's for sure.
He's a quarterback too.
Get rid of Glennon. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a goofy looking guy, kind of like me. But
Let's see. There's a couple quarterbacks coming up this year in the draft.
Colin Kaepernick's coming up. Charles, how would you feel if Colin Kaepernick played for your team? I'm curious.
Yeah.
No, we don't have to make it all political. I'll be here early next Wednesday. Sweet.
That's the thing, though. Colin Kaepernick is all political.
He is very political,
He's got more talent than Bortles, that walking garbage can, and Jay Cutler, that walking sack of apathy that he is. I mean, he should have a job. It's political.
I don't have to run that hard if I'm a starting quarterback.
Yeah, I can smoke a pack a day. I'm still playing the NFL. It's okay.
I love those.
Maybe, but you shouldn't.
I love the Photoshop mashups people do of like somebody wearing a headband with like a cigarette in the mouth and one on the ear. Like there's a classic one of LeBron James that goes around all the time, and it gets me every time. Charles says, I'd be okay with it personally. He does a silent protest. It doesn't bother me. I like your thinking. I mean,
That's my point.
Everybody else is blowing it out of proportion, and now it's like they're scared to go near him because he carries too much baggage. Like honestly, if a team picked him up, like if a team that really rallied behind his silent protest, like I think of like the Seahawks, but I don't think he's going to get picked up by them.
Well, he could now. Michael Bennett's doing his whole sit down thing, and
yeah, and I think if a team that like understands his position on it would give him a chance, I think it could do a lot for their team, and it could do a lot for getting the discussion going about what his protest is. It'll give him, I mean, he's got a platform already. Everybody knows who he is.
Yeah.
But it'll give him just that much more of like a hub to talk about the things that are an issue. And I think that that's very important. But it'd be interesting to see Colin Kaepernick on the Bears. Dude.
Yeah. I don't know. I just can't get over the fact that Jay Cutler has a job and Kaepernick does not.
Yeah.
I can't swallow that pill.
That blows my mind. I thought Kaepernick was going to Miami, too, when word came out that Tannehill was out.
I don't even disagree.
Don't even disagree with some of his statements and stances.
Yeah. I won't say that he handled them the best. I think the Castro shirt might have been in poor taste.
Yeah, probably.
And I can see why people got mad at that, but, I mean, yeah, he doesn't make completely invalid... I mean, it's all opinion, obviously, but it's not like he's saying we should, stone people or something.
Right.
He's pretty...
And he's very well spoken on it, too. I remember watching an interview with him after one of the games. I think it was like after the game that he started, after his protest. He started in that... Sam Grizzle on Twitch says, sit for the flag, he should be deported to North Korea. Well, he can't, because nobody's allowed in North Korea. Only Dennis Rodman. Charlie, Castro point was dumb. Yeah, didn't make any sense, but there's a level of inequality out there, and just asking for awareness isn't a bad thing. I agree.
Yeah.
And the fact that he was so well spoken about it, too, I think it shows that he's willing to talk about this topic. He's well-versed. He's in the culture. Like, come on, give him a chance, give him a place, give him something. But one other thing that came out of that too was his jersey sales skyrocketed.
Yeah.
And this is my favorite part because like he's getting all this attention for something that people have frowny faces about, but then he takes the money and he turns around and gives a whole bunch of it, if not all of it. I've read after the fact that he gave $1 million or he pledged $1 million, but to like different organizations, like 25 different organizations. So he's putting his attention where he wants it to go in the first place. You know what I mean? Like he's taking all the money that people are giving for it and putting it in the area that they support.
We got some chat going, yeah.
Yeah, chat's on fire. Charles says the irony, Sam, is that what separates us from North Korea is that we don't punish people for disagreeing with the status quo. Yeah, there's a lot of big differences between North Korea.
Just a few.
We don't launch missiles over Canada into the water above them to.
If we launch missiles, we hit what we're aiming for. Maybe the whole missile launch thing, they're actually trying to hit people and they just can't.
And they're just saying it was a success. Yeah,
we did. Yeah, it was a good test, even though they really wanted to hit somebody.
I really hope it's not.
Yeah, me too.
But that'd be hilarious if that's how it was.
Damn it, we could build missiles, but not navigation for the missiles. Anyway, back to Kaepernick.
Yeah.
There's worse players who did worse things in the NFL that still have jobs.
And I think
that's kind of the point.
And the point in an NFL or any sports franchise is to win. Obviously, you recruit talent that's better than other teams. Mm-hmm. Like, if it's about winning, why isn't he hired?
Nope, but if my team hired that piece of garbage, I'd be outraged. Sam, who is your favorite sports team?
I'm curious. And I mean, obviously, you're entitled to your opinion. I'm glad we have a chat going.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very important topic. And I mean, I don't know how much I should edit out of this. This could be like a 2-hour episode on SoundCloud. Oh, man.
Go fish.
Dolphins.
Dolphins? Let's see. Who's on the Dolphins with a criminal record?
There's got to be somebody.
Let's look that up.
I'm curious. Yeah. Let's do a Google machine search.
I don't want to call you out, Sam, but what I'm trying to say is that in the NFL, there are players who have been accused of domestic violence, who have been caught DUIs, manslaughter, and they're still on teams, and they're still getting paid, and no one talks about it. And I think that's way worse than doing the silent protest for...
Ndamukong Suh?
Ndamukong Suh, okay, yeah. A terrible human being, not maybe human being, but a terrible player who's dirty and classless. You probably still root for him.
I did open my eyes and saw Kaepernick wearing cop/pig socks. What a class act.
We're not saying he's right. We're just saying he has a right to protest.
Yeah, he does have that right.
Just like you have the right to say we just sent him to North Korea.
And that wearing socks is very much a silent protest until somebody says something about it.
Yeah.
But the whole point is to make a statement and start a discussion. But obviously, I mean, I could see that being a little bit in poor taste. But like, you got to listen to his words.
Yeah.
I mean, those might say something about him, like maybe he says stuff about cops behind closed doors in a similar fashion that he's wearing socks that are saying things that he might say behind doors. I don't know.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Miami is 10, number 10 on most criminal records in the NFL as far as players are concerned.
And I think this is since 2000.
Yeah. So they're number 10 of 32, so... Houston has the least, but they're also the newest team.
So this is a pretty, since we're talking about it, this is actually, I don't know how much I trust the source, but I'm going to share it because it's really interesting.
Yeah. I appreciate the talk, Sam. Like, I really do.
Yeah.
I don't mean to argue with you. I'm just trying to, tell you what we're trying to say. He has the right, but that goes without saying.
Well, okay, it's not about feeling bad that he doesn't have a job. It's like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, because he's a talent, is what we're saying.
Yeah.
NFL, you're trying to win, and how do you win? Coaching and talent, and just saying, I think he's a better player than a lot of players on some rosters, but he doesn't have a job because of the political baggage, which doesn't make sense to me.
Oh, that's so crazy. All right, I'm going to share this link.
This is a sophisticated website.
I'm going to share this link in the chat. This is really interesting.
Yeah, I don't feel bad for Kaepernick for not having a job. He's already made his money. He's made more money than I'll ever see in my life. Maybe stuff can happen.
Abstract sports.
Donate. I'm just saying it doesn't make sense to us from a observation perspective. We're talking about sports on the internet.
It's going to come up.
Yeah, here we go. This is good. I like the chat. It's great.
Especially because in abstract sports, the idea is to talk about things that
Right.
actually relate to real life. And civil rights, silent protesting, that's all very much a human right, or at least in America.
It goes deeper than, throwing the ball.
Yeah, it goes way deeper than that.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate that discussion. Actually, I wrote an article about Colin Kaepernick. It was like this first or second article I wrote for the blog because...
Throw it out.
Yeah, I'll throw it out. I mean, it was a year ago. My opinion still stands. I don't think it would be any different. I did share this link, right? Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you shared that one.
So I'll just go back through here. Yeah, I wrote this article. Oh, man, I get to be way back here.
I do like what they've done with Miami's football stadium, though, Sam.
Where they put the shelter up
They
over
put the shelter over it. It looks good.
Yeah. My dad's a big Dolphins fan, too.
True, he is. We saved the Bud Light Dolphins can for him.
Holy cow. So this was the first article I wrote for the blog. So it all comes full circle, But I will let you guys know that if you share links in the chat, you might get timed out because that's a default thing on Twitch. People will come in here and try to self-promo and all kinds of stuff. Share nasty videos of, prawn.
We've had one of the... It wasn't a link, but he was...
Yeah, Cat really wants to get in this room, but nah. Paint's coming off that door right now.
There's kitties in this house.
But this is the first article I wrote for the blog, and September of 2016, almost just over a year ago. This is before I had this new site, though, and it was all pretty. I remember I used the WordPress thing, and it was disgusting. But feel free to give that a read. I mean,
it's pretty short, so...
It's very short, and I think I keep it very neutral because I remember it being a very big problem for me when I wrote this article. I didn't want to come off as I'm rooting for one side or the other because that's not what it's about. Hopefully that's how it comes out because I don't remember. I mean, I wrote it a year ago, so we'll see how it stands. But yeah, Colin Kaepernick, that was a good discussion, guys. I really appreciate the chat. Keep that up forever. That's really fun.
Yeah.
But let's move on to a little bit of NBA action. We were talking about some people believing the Earth is flat. The big trade that happened this summer was Gordon Hayward and Kyrie Irving going to Boston, Isaiah Thomas and
Crowder.
Yeah, Crowder.
Jay Crowder.
And one other guy going to the Cavs.
Their young center.
No, the Earth's not flat, Charles. You're a scientist. You should know this.
I have a piece of paper on my wall that says, I know the Earth's not flat.
My globe is round, so the Earth is round.
Yeah.
It's actually the logic of a flat earther. But it's all just a scheme. It's just Illuminati.
Illuminati confirmed.
Thanks, Obama. But Kyrie, like, the news has been around him this summer, but he was recently on First Take with Stephen A. Smith and what's his bucket? Skip Bayless. Is he? No, he's not even on that show anymore.
Skip Bayless is on First Take.
Max Kellerman.
Yeah.
And
young Skip Bayless.
Yeah, basically. Controversial, loud, obnoxious.
Yeah, fake.
Fake. So yeah. Kyrie was on this show, and basically Max Kellerman and Stephen A. were interrogating him, like, did you talk to LeBron James before you made your decision to be traded? And he said, no. Just straight up, no. And he's like, well, don't you think that might cause some trouble with you and that one person? He's like, I don't know why I'd have to tell him. Like, why do I have to?
He's not my dad.
And he goes on to explain himself that, like, basically the whole decision behind the process, the whole decision going on in his mind was like, I can be extremely happy working on my craft in Boston, and I don't have for some reason he doesn't have that opportunity in Cleveland, whatever that was. He can't do his job the way he wants to.
I think it's because he's a point guard and they take the ball out of his hands sometimes.
It could be. And, this year, I mean, going from like when he made the shot that won them the championship 2 years ago through this last season, Kyrie he's become one of my favorite players to watch because he is extremely skilled in every aspect, like dribbling. He can run the pick and roll really well, and he can shoot. And not just shoot, but he can shoot in clutch moments when it matters and make them. And you saw that on like the Christmas Day game. He did the exact same thing, like in the championship game, but it was over Klay Thompson this time instead of Steph Curry. Charles says, "I love LeBron, but I can imagine playing. I can't imagine playing. Oh, okay, I can imagine playing with him can be difficult." Sorry, I tried to correct you ahead of myself.
Yeah, he just he dad Deezy all the time and just it's his team, which I get, but
I mean,
yeah, I can see that.
He runs the team like he's the coach. He's one of those player coaches. And so I could see that being frustrating. Kobe was the same way. Like, nobody wanted to play with Kobe. There's no secret there.
LeBron, le coach, le GM.
So, I mean, I don't know. I wonder if LeBron will go to LA after next year.
You can hope. You can pray.
I hope. That'd be crazy. Lonzo Ball, LeBron James, Julius Randle, Brandon Ingram.
Paul George.
Paul George?
Paul George?
I think it's either Paul or LeBron. It's not both.
Not both.
But
I can't imagine Paul staying at OKC, though. That doesn't.
I can't either.
Doesn't make any sense.
He already came out and said he's going to be in LA if he's not playing for a championship team. So I think he's trying OKC out for a year and then jump and ship if they're not in good position. So. But yeah, so Kyrie's basically just defending himself like, look, it's a personal decision, and it kind of goes back to the whole sports are not just sports. Like yeah, we're here. Charlie, bring LeVar Ball out of retirement. His talent is unrivaled.
Undefeated.
I know, he's undefeated. He could take MJ.
One-on-one.
LeVar's too big, too strong.
Here we are giving that guy airtime.
More airtime. We talked about it every time. I did watch episode 4.
We're falling into their plan. We're just getting.
Well, it's not like we're getting like hella views or anything like that, but we're still feeding the fire. At least we're like the
embers that
the small
spread the fire.
Yes, we're
slowly
the little winds that blow through.
Wink, wink.
Giggity googity. So yeah, Kyrie, I like that guy. I mean, him standing up for himself in that interview just made me like him even more. And kind of going back, I mean, in a similar line of that, Kevin Durant was in the news recently. Have you seen anything about this at all? The
whole Twitter exchange, calling people out using names, and it kind of looked like he had a
alternate account.
Alternate account.
Yeah, so there's suspicion that Charlie, you should buy his shoes. You know what? I'm not Big Baller enough.
Feel free to donate Big Baller brand shoes to Abstract Sports.
Yes, if you all donate enough to buy the shoes, I will buy them. And I will take them to a Lakers game in Salt Lake, and I will have him sign them. I mean, if he sees me holding those things,
he better.
He's not gonna not sign it.
Yeah, he better.
So, I mean, what if he turns in be like one of the best players ever? I mean, it's really, you can't say he will or won't, but what if?
That's how you're gonna retire. Someone's gonna donate some shoes to the podcast.
Yeah.
You're gonna get them signed. It's going to blow up, and then you have to sell them on eBay.
I'll have to get a notary, like, write it up, like 50% of whatever this is worth goes towards something that the fans want it to go to, or otherwise it would just not be kosher. I don't have $495 laying around. Sorry, Charles.
Sorry, Kyle.
Sorry,
I
Charles.
don't know all the rules of this. So.
What, all the rules of what?
Of the donating thing. So.
Oh, no, you can donate. Like, I believe it's set up to work. All it does is it takes you to a window where you put in your amount, and you can put in a message.
Shoes.
4 shoes.
4 shoes. 4 BBB shoes.
Oh, man, that'd be hilarious. Then we could probably use that as traction. Be like, kid donates $3 to buy BBB shoes for Twitch stream.
GoFundMe.
Sam Grizzle on Twitch says, NBA has a finance problem. Ratings are going to hell and salaries skyrocketed. Most NBA teams lost money last year, which is creating a bigger disparity problem, which leads to lower ratings. Huh. I guess I did not know that, if that is factual. If you have a source...
Oh, check out the ratings.
How do you...
NBA ratings by year?
Ratings?
I'm not a huge NBA fan, so this is all him.
Yeah, honestly, I guess they have dropped a bit according to this Wikipedia.
They're out of the valley, though. Looks like a couple years ago they... 2007 looks like the low point.
Yeah, that is interesting. I mean, one thing that I can relate to this...
that's the finals.
Oh, that's just finals ratings. Okay.
SB Nation did report 14 teams lost money.
SB.
Well, you get that with almost every sport. I mean, no one's going to Jacksonville Jag games.
Yeah.
Hell, USC had more people watching their college game than the 2 NFL franchises in LA had combined. So there's no way they're making money.
Yeah, that's a good point. And, I mean, the thing that I was going to say... Okay, here's the article. 14 NBA teams are reportedly losing money. I could set up a screen share and show this on the screen, but I won't.
I mean,
just because I don't know what kind of ads are going to pop up.
The losing money, that's always been around for every sport. It's the profit sharing. I mean, that's why it's an organization. It's not independent leagues playing each other. So,
and a lot of teams could be paying a huge luxury tax for having too good of a lineup, basically. Yeah. Like, I know the Warriors pay a huge salary tax or a luxury tax for signing Kevin Durant, and I'm sure that goes into it. But
Sam, I didn't know if you knew this, but the WNBA has never turned a profit. Not one team has ever turned a profit. It's all paid for by the NBA. So teams losing money, I don't think is their concern because they have enough teams making money.
Yeah.
TV contracts, all the merch, all that stuff. It all goes into a big pot.
Yeah.
Really, when you get down to it.
And the good thing about the whole sports thing too, is that there's never really one team that's on top forever.
Yeah.
At some point, a team's going to fall. People have to retire. People get older. It changes the look of things just by the nature of it. So
the Clippers are better than the Lakers right now.
That's unheard of.
Yeah.
That's never happened.
And that's been the way the last couple of years.
Yeah, and it's all because Kobe hit the tail end of his career. So I mean, the Warriors, they're a young team. They might be around for a long time, but that can't last forever. But that's a good discussion. I'm not too worried about it. I think the NBA is one of the most forward-thinking professional sports associations around, I think.
They don't have a concussion issue.
None of that.
They don't have parents pulling their kids out of the sport early because of health issues. It's going to be a sport that survives. Yeah,
it's a very... it's forward-thinking, but it's also all-inclusive. Like, they say sports... sports can get a little bit political. Like we were talking about some politics earlier. ESPN's having issues with politics, but politics are kind of the nature of human existence. Like,
yeah, if you have two different people, they're going to disagree at some point.
Yeah.
Like, Kyle likes basketball. I'm indifferent about basketball.
Yeah, and that's fine. I hate you for it, but...
Baseball.
I love baseball. But, one thing I did read, though, about the Warriors was that, let's see, back in around 2007, I think, around the time that there was that lull, I guess that was finals ratings, but
a little dip.
I'm looking for a graphic. There's no images in this article, dang it. But about 7-ish years ago, 7 to 10 years ago, the Warriors were worth like $500 million, which, 7 years ago, that's still a ton of money.
Yeah.
now they're worth $2.3 billion. So, I mean, could be because they have like a 2-time MVP plus another MVP, Finals MVP. They've got 2 championships in the last 3 years. They're on the up, that's for sure. People are buying their jerseys like nothing.
Hotcakes.
But I think that is sort of like trickle down is not the word I'm looking for, but the teams who are successful, there are bandwagon fans that will keep their numbers high until they lose players. Then they'll start to like plateau out, and you'll see the finance issue kind of evening itself out throughout the NBA till one team does really well, then it spikes again.
The Knicks will probably be good again sometime in the future. Maybe not, but
in Melo's lifetime,
probably not. But it's cyclical, like Kyle said, and I'm not too worried about it. But thanks for bringing that up. That's a good topic. Good random topic. Keep it coming. Well, we were talking about NBA, so it's not random.
Yeah, keep it's not random at all. Yeah. I mean, it's like
we weren't expecting the finance thing.
Yeah, it just makes sense. I love it. But anyways, KD's been in the news because he's having he allegedly, potentially, possibly had alternate accounts on social media to respond to his haters.
The snake's been slithering, is what you're telling me?
He has been slithering around in the DMs, but not in the way you might think. Maybe.
That's fair. Yeah.
But, I mean, it's not uncommon for professional athletes to have a secondary Twitter account, like an unverified account that they use for family, friends, and just regular, for things like this, like having a discussion with fans without the fans getting starstruck and stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
oh my God!
Yeah, so, I mean, they do it all the time, at least from his discussion, the way that he was talking about it today, I'm like, wow, I guess I never thought of it.
That makes sense.
But players do that. But apparently he forgot to log out of his verified Twitter account and he replied to this hater, and he used Billy Donovan's name, which was his former coach at OKC, talking about how he ran the team terribly and that there was nobody around except for him and Westbrook to make that team successful. And so that day he did an interview with, very random, he did an interview with TechCrunch, which is like a big tech.
I knew he did an interview. I didn't know it was with them, though. It was kind of random. It
was very strange. It was on TechCrunch, and the news broke just before he got there. And so they asked him a couple questions about it. And because, I mean, TechCrunch is obviously all about technology and social media and using the web for your benefit. And so the conversation made sense for the discussion. And basically he was just like, I'm mad at myself for bringing names into this. Like I apologized to Billy Donovan and the coach and the franchise, and I didn't want to mention names, but I did, and I'm upset with myself that I did. But then he talks about how he's like,
sorry, I said your name, but I still mean what I said.
Yes, I didn't mean to do that way, but I did.
But I did.
But he basically was talking about how he loves using social media to interact with fans, and I've seen it over the last several months that he will reply to tweets and he will reply to DMs because he has a lot of fans that are hurt from him leaving OKC, and they'll contact him and be like, hey man, you got to come back.
And Seattle.
And yeah, Seattle, the whole city of Seattle misses him. They do need a team though.
They do.
And so he mentioned how he loves being able to interact with his fans because it helps. He thinks that's a good relationship to have as a professional athlete. People look up to you, and if you reply to a tweet, that makes that person's year sometimes.
Yeah. Worst case, it makes your brand more popular.
Yeah, it makes your brand popular. Shoes. And so I guess when he's down talking his old franchise, it looks bad on him, and he. I do think he should get a snake tat.
He should.
On his
arm.
You
should just own it. At this point, Kevin Durant, you should really just own it.
If you're watching, Kevin Durant,
get the tattoo.
You should get it. We'll find all the mock-ups people have made for you online, and we'll share the best one with you, okay?
My next chapter and have a snake.
We will not help you pay for the tattoo.
He's got more money.
But we will appreciate. Yeah, that's a drop in the bucket. Tattoo like that.
In the span that we first said Katie to now, he has made enough to pay for 3 full-body snake tattoos.
Sweet. Just all around the neck, arms.
Forehead.
2-headed snakes so you can have one go down each arm. And
nothing against tattoos. Go for it.
Yeah. Whole body, face.
Yeah. Everything.
Inner nose.
Own it.
Whatever you want
Own
to
it,
do.
Kevin.
Own it.
Own it.
But I don't know. I have a lot of respect for KD. that's not even a bad thing to be criticizing your former team. I just think that he didn't want to do that publicly. That's like a personal choice for him.
So he came at it wrong.
He came at it wrong. But I think it's cool to watch an athlete like open up like that, even if it was accidental, because it kind of shows that like he's giving his personal explanation of why he left, and everybody wanted that. They're like, "Why did you leave? You were on a good team. You left for the next best team in the conference. What the hell?" And then he gives this answer, and it's like, this is like the kibosh on every question you've been asking him the whole last year and a half.
Yeah. Didn't like the coach, liked Russ.
Everybody else kind of blah.
Yeah.
And like if they had one more good guy on that team, they could have done really well. Like KD, Paul George, if he was going to be there this year like he is now.
Kevin's like, why
Plus
did I
Russ.
leave? They have... No.
But apparently he was saying that he's lost a lot of sleep over the decision. And I don't know. I love the fact that he's being very human about it, and he's talking to people. He's going on big time media outlets and discussing this issue that would normally be like a no comment type of thing for most people. He's a very transparent guy, and I appreciate that. Made me like him a lot more. He actually has a YouTube channel that he uploads to all the time. Like ever since he left OKC, he started this playlist or like this category called Still KD. And he talks about how like, yeah, I left OKC, but it's still me, guys. Like I'm still the same guy. Trying to like humanize himself more so people can understand.
I am not the robot.
Yes. And I think that's done a lot for him. But I actually tweeted at KD today from Abstract Sports. I tweeted at him and I was like, and I feel like after the fact, I was like, crap, maybe it was bad timing. But I said, how has the game of basketball impacted your life off the court? And I hope he didn't take that.
Everybody hates me.
I hope he didn't take that like in a negative way where I'm like trying to dig deeper into this wound that he has.
Just the night.
But like I want it to be more like him trying to humanize himself a little more, because I see that in a lot of what his discussion is.
At KD35, we'd love to do an interview.
Yeah, KD Trey 5,
whatever his handle is.
I'm gonna go find it real quick. I mean, I want you guys to follow him. He's a good dude. Not that he needs more followers. Please don't play the audio on those. Oh, I didn't hit the .com.
That would have gotten a little loud here. KD.
Oh no, I hope the audio is not playing automatically. I'm just going to get off that. KD Trey 5 on Twitter. Go follow.
Sorry if it got a little weird audio-wise.
Yeah, it may have. I hope not. Because on desktop, they do audio sometimes, and it's the worst.
Might have to turn that off for this.
You
might have to turn that off for this.
Yeah. I feel like I did already. But anyways, hope the audio is not terrible. Glad you guys are sticking with us. But speaking of basketball, the season is a month away. But also...
Baseball playoffs.
There is the baseball playoffs.
The important things in life.
We mention this like every week. Like basketball is this many days, and so is the playoffs.
Baseball.
Just to make sure
baseball.
we're talking about
them
the
Indians
things.
are hot.
Are they?
Them Windians, as
The
LeBron
Windians.
put it.
That's right. They were like,
Indians.
what they have like 23 wins or 22, and then it
22 is a franchise record, and they're 26-1. The last 27 games.
That's
crazy.
crazy.
Pretty hot. Little opposite of the Los Angeles Dodgers. But they're still gonna make the playoffs. The Dodgers.
Yeah, they did clinch a spot. I remember seeing that.
Yeah, my Cards are probably gonna miss the playoffs, but oh well.
Charlie the Jedi, but who beat those Windians last season? Well, that would be the Chicago Cubs. They sure did.
They'll probably make the playoffs.
They drank too much champagne, and now they're still on the championship hangover, hoping they can get it back together before the real work hits in the playoffs.
They're not going to repeat, Charlie. I'm sorry to tell you.
But what if they did?
You'd be crazy.
That'd be so wild and
But
crazy. Oh, hey! Cloverhook with the host.
What?
Thanks, Clover, man. Appreciate it.
What does that mean?
It means that he shared our stream on his stream so that his followers can watch it.
What?
Everybody, go give Cloverhook a follow. That dude is a god. He's the man. We actually go way back. That's like college days. We were roommates, man.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. So I need to follow Cloverhook then.
Yeah,
Have I
everybody
met
go
Cloverhook?
follow Clover. Clover says, "How's it going, dude? How much longer are you going for? I'll toss out a tweet."
We're probably over what we usually go.
Yeah, we're a little over how long we normally go for, but I think we're going to be on for maybe another 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, we still got a question of the day.
Hey, that emoji. I actually subbed to a stream with my personal Twitch, because I have Twitch Prime. Because if you're an Amazon Prime member, you can go. You get like, I don't know if they're still doing the deal. They had like a half off subscription, but you get one free subscription to anybody you want. I was like, you know what, my boy.
Your boy.
Clover says, haha, perfect. Next time for show then. Yeah, buddy. So we go live. So the stream starts at 7 Mountain Time, 9 Eastern. And we usually like hang out for about 10 minutes, wait for some people to show up, have some music for you, some good vibes, just jamming.
There's some graphics on the screen. It's a good show. You should watch it.
Yeah, it is good stuff. And so right around like 7:10, that's when we actually start the show. We'll give you like a little, like a warning shot with like this colorful screen, and you're like, oh my gosh, what is this? And it's like to let you know. It's like it's like the yellow light.
We coming.
The yellow light before a red light. It's like,
yeah.
Oh, and then
whoa,
and then there it is. But yeah, so where are we at? We were talking some baseball playoffs. Be interesting to see what the Indians can do after going to the World Series last year. Notifications on. Looking forward to it. Thanks, Clover. Appreciate it, dude. You the man. It'd be interesting to see the Indians. I did that on accident. Be interesting to see the Indians get a win in the World Series this year, just because it's like
they blew a 3-1 lead last year. It's Cleveland,
and they're like the second losingest team of all time, or like they have the longest streak of not winning the World Series. Yeah. I think it is. It's like 76, 77 years now.
Yeah, thanks to Chicago.
Yeah, just upping the number.
Yeah, well, Chicago had it, then
yeah,
they won.
So I'm curious to see what they do. I'm really not rooting for anybody this year. I don't know. I'll watch the postseason when it rolls around.
You're not a huge baseball fan, guy.
I'm not, but I
say baseball. Kyle says basketball.
You missed a couple letters.
Yeah, that's a weird way to spell basketball.
K before the E, T after the E. Yeah. There it is. Yeah. Basketball. Charlie Jedi says, yeah. I think Charlie's stoked about postseason.
Well, baseball is a good sport.
It is. He wants to see the Cubs fly the W.
Yeah, I don't know who I need to root for, since the Cardinals probably aren't going to make it again. So maybe Cleveland, just for the feel goods.
Just for the story.
The feel goods.
I like it.
In the heart.
In the heart. In the heart. So that does it for NBA, and I love how we did a little bit of MLB, but we didn't even have a section set up for it. But some things that are related to the NBA, but not really. So NBA 2K18 came out on Friday last week, and Charlie says, try a decent team maybe, get away from the Redbirds. Shots fired.
They have the second most rings, Charlie. The second most rings. They're getting old.
Next to the Yankees?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's Yankees, a step down to Cardinals, and then another step down to everybody else.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's crazy.
It's like 22, 13, and then like 4.
That's a lot. I guess I didn't realize the Cardinals were that good.
Well, baseball's old, man.
It is an old sport.
Baseball's
old. About as old as me.
Yeah. Just almost.
Just about. So NBA 2K18 came out last Friday. You probably heard me. I mean, if you follow any of the SoundCloud or the podcasts, like post-production stuff, you probably heard me talk about 2K18 Prelude coming out, where you can start your My Player. But the game, it's here. See the shiny cover? Swing, 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 swing.
It's pretty fancy.
I pre-ordered the Legend Edition. It's got Shaq on the cover because he's a freaking legend. Last year, 2017, had Kobe on the cover. Because it was like the year after he retired and everybody was hyped or sad. But they do have the Heat on this cover.
That's true.
You could have upgraded to the Legend Edition Gold and got the Lakers jersey. I wasn't about to spend that much more money. But
same game, different box.
Yeah, so the Prelude, you play like a few games and it sort of determines what team you go to and how good you start out with. How good your created player is to start with out the gate. My guy was a 60. But good thing
cool thing about Legend Edition is that you pay extra money. You get it 4 days earlier than everybody else, but it also comes with like 100,000 virtual currency, aka VC. And so I just take that money, or that, money. I bought the money.
Sounds like you got swindled, Kyle, is what it really sounds like.
No, because it takes forever to go from 60 to what I'm at now. So I like jumped a step and I got the game early.
Let's design that way. Let's make it hard.
Yeah. Well, they're actually getting
buy the currency.
They're getting pretty scammy. The way they're doing things.
That's what I'm saying. It sounds a little scam. It sounds a little freemium.
I mean, this is normal for them, but the way they've changed the way you upgrade your player in my career is set up so that you don't know, like when you're upgrading your player, all you see is like a bar with like the different dots. Like, here's how much you can fill up your speed to, but you have to earn the upgrades to be able to do it. But the way they're doing it this year, it's almost like you can't see what attributes that's affecting. So like speed, it affects multiple things like acceleration, velocity, not velocity, but
stamina?
Like stamina is a different stat, but like there's certain things that are attached to it, like strength helps with post defense, post offense. There's little substats you need to know.
Nuance.
But they don't show that with this upgrade system. It just shows bars. And so the reason they're doing that probably is to trick little kids into being like they don't know what they're actually improving, so they're getting more money out of them by getting them to buy more BC. Charlie says, does it have the same awkward storyline like the Spike Lee directed one a couple of years back? No,
that game.
So I think that one was 2K17. Or was that 16? Man, I don't remember.
The 17 one's awkward. I got it because it was free.
Okay, and that wasn't the Spike Lee one then.
It wasn't?
Or was it?
No, because you had to watch the whole video, and then Spike Lee's like, "Hey, I'm Spike Lee," and then he snaps, and then he's animated. So it was that one.
Okay,
or was that 16?
I think that was 17.
16. It was 16 because I got the 16. We were going to play it.
Oh,
and I had the update, and you're like, "Well, let's play 17 because you already had 17." So it was 16.
That's right. So I think that one was the one that changed the career mode to be what it is now. It was 2015. It was pretty garbage compared to what it was in 16. But it still has a story mode. But the Spike Lee one was crazy. Like that was very very big story mode time. But now it's kind of like you do have a life, but it's not as in depth. Like you don't have like cutscenes with your parents and your sister and your girlfriend and
baby mama drama.
You just have this one friend. Her name is B. I'm not sure what it stands for, but
baby.
It's not beautiful. I'll tell you that much. But she's your friend and she lives with you. But it gets away from that story. And I'll reply to your comment in a second. But now the big thing about my player is you run around the neighborhood, where like to get new shoes you have to actually go to the Foot Locker. To get new clothes you go to the NBA store. There's an arcade you can do and like gamble and win money off of like picking what teams are going to win this week. So they have a lot of added little features in there that were not there a year ago. The gameplay is totally different. I'm liking it so far, but I'm a 78 overall right now, and I'm trying to hit 80 by the end of the week. It's a very much a grind.
Do work.
Charlie says, my white player had a black twin sister and black... Yeah, that's right. That's how the storyline was. It's so funny. And his best friend was made to just die. Yep. And they took him from... They took from the ability to be Rookie of the Year and MVP.
And they took from me the ability.
From me, there it is.
I was like, what are you reading?
What are you saying, Charles? Oh my gosh. Yeah, so that storyline, it's always funny when they like... You can create your own player, and obviously you can pick your skin tone and everything. Then they stick you in this story, but it doesn't take into account those things, and it's kind of funny. I find it is just like it's sort of a flaw, but you understand why it's like that. But yeah, the whole twin black sister thing, that identical twins, no, but
paternal.
And then I think the other thing that's kind of funny that I've noticed them struggle with over the years is because you can be a black or white guy or whatever, they try to make the voice like a black white guy.
Very neutral.
Like a neutral, but so kind of talking like, I don't know. He's just got this twang, and he's got like this something to him that's just different, I guess. but it's pretty funny. So
It's kind of like when you hear Randy Moss speak for the first time.
yeah,
It throws you off guard. You're like,
sounds
who
like
is talking?
like a Southern
Randy
hick.
Moss.
But yeah, 2K18, it's a great game. I like it. Gonna play the crap out of it. Hoping to get some Battlefield 1 time in though as well.
This weekend for sure.
Yeah, so we got a pretty good squad of people that like to play all different types of classes, and so
Get Skittles in on this.
Yeah.
And then
yeah,
yeah.
I'd be down with that.
Yeah.
Skittles actually came through one of my streams the other night. It was pretty cool. Shout out Skittles 212_212. She plays a lot of Destiny 2 and
She likes the game.
she's damn good at first person shooters, that's for sure. Another thing about 2K18 though that they're introducing, this is going on forever. This is a long
This is a
episode.
long podcast.
But 2K18 is starting this thing called the E-League, where different teams in the NBA, so like actual teams in the NBA, not in the game, they are going to hold an E-League draft where they're going to pick the best 2K players in real life to a team. The idea is that this is going to be your job. Seriously. Like
Dreams do come true.
if you get drafted by an E-League team, you pick up shop and you travel to wherever they're doing this thing, and you play like a full season. You're like an actual gamer, a seasoned gamer.
Get on that.
I know, man. That'd be so cool.
Abstract Sports is hereby suspended.
No, I would still do it. I would talk about the experience. It'd be good marketing for the game.
I'm getting paid to do this.
Man, that'd be super cool though. I mean, I don't know where I match up with some of the good players in the world, but I feel like
you're all hard. You're all hard.
I am. It's, in video games sometimes it doesn't matter. But they do have sort of like an intangibles thing in the game where you can earn badges, and these badges are almost like things that don't get stats, but they help your team and they recognize that. So like one of those is like brick wall, like you set really good screens. That's not a stat, but it affects the outcome of a play and therefore the game. So it's kind of got some elements to it that are abstract. Sports.
Soundboard.
Pew, 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 pew. So look forward to be talking about some E-League stuff. I'm curious to see how that comes together. I think it's going to be an organizational nightmare. Like, I think there's like 18 teams that are doing it. The Jazz being one of them. But what's funny is Gordon Hayward was the big gamer and he left the team. So I wonder who's. I mean, I'm sure they have a team of people who manage the E-League for the Jazz. It's not like the players do. But I feel like he was a big reason why it came to Utah.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see how that comes together. But that brings us to the Weekly D, a.k.a. Question of the Day. I did like that segment, or that suggested name, the Weekly D. Because like today we had a lot of really cool discussions with different people that we've never seen before, which we really appreciate. And this question of the day sort of drives another discussion, gets you thinking from one podcast episode to the next, so you can come back to the next episode and give us your answer. So for this week, the question we asked last week for us to answer today was, what do you do to hype yourself up? And I think we were playing off of something for that question, like somebody being super jazzed about something. I don't remember what it was.
Is it no, it wasn't McGregor. Was it?
No. I don't think so. But we saw something where like a team used a certain intro to get them going, or like they had like players wearing headphones, like rapping to themselves before games. Like you clearly know that that's them getting in their zone. So this question is sort of like, what gets you energized to go kick some ass, basically, at whatever it is that you do, whether you're a professional basketball player, football player, hockey player, curler, dart thrower,
graphic
designer, optical lens crafter,
ophthalmic technician,
optometric technician. That's some big words.
Whiskey.
Or geologist.
That's my true
line
True
of
line
work
of
where you'd
work.
like to be.
Yeah.
Charlie the Jedi says whiskey is what gets him to turn it up past 11.
You might get turned, but you might not perform.
Yeah, that's
Whiskey dicks.
in more ways than one. Oh man, that's hilarious. If you're trying to party, yeah, maybe that's what gets you going.
Yeah.
But
So we had one answer come in, and as always, it's your boy Clay. Get at him on Instagram. He's posted a lot of cool stuff. He goes to a lot of great food places in San Francisco and Oakland. It is your boy Clay, B-O-I, Clay.
Your boy.
Your boy. And his answer to what he does to hype himself up is this. I think about what emotions I would have if I was the person about to make the game winner or the last lift of a competition when I go lift, and what I would feel like succeeding at that. At work, I put on some jams or imagine the client being hype about the project. Okay, so he's like playing through the emotion.
He's a mental guy.
Mental. So like he's thinking like, man, they're gonna be so lit when they see this. Like, oh my god. And so he gets turned off that.
The best.
The best building design you've ever seen.
I know buildings and they're the best.
Yes. You should listen to me because I know the buildings. I know all.
Oh man.
But no, I really like that idea. Is like you're playing into like trying to make people happy at what you do, and you get success and happiness out of that. I mean, obviously when you do good work, people like your work. That makes you happy.
True.
So I can feel on that. Micah, what gets you hyped? What hypes you up? Like you're about to go to a football game, or like you're doing something that needs hyping up.
I'm a music guy.
Big music guy.
Music guy. I get the beats. Like I start feeling the beats and the rhythm.
Just feeling them. Just like,
so some faster paced music.
What type of music would you?
Depends on the mood. Sometimes some faster rap. Sometimes some metal. Some Lamb of God. Cloverhook. It's all about hype music. Yeah.
It's all about the hype music.
Give me anything Kanye, AC/DC, something like that with some power. Yeah, I feel that. That's me.
All
totally,
about the power.
100%. It's not really a mental thing for me. It's just it's almost like a let go. Like stop thinking and just start reacting.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's better.
No, I think
sometimes you don't have time to think. You just got to react.
Exactly. I think music is a big thing for everybody.
Yeah. To me, it gets me more connected with my instincts, I guess.
Yeah.
Like more primal after you're in the zone.
Because I mean, when you're hearing music, you're like feeling these things inside you.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my gosh,
I tend to overthink things, and music gets me out of that overthink stage and just.
Yeah. Charlie says the idea of beating an opponent, winning. Charlie's a winner.
It's funny coming from a Bears fan.
That's why he's so sad. No. Just kidding, Charles. No, I mean, as a competitor, that's what you want. You want to beat somebody down. Sam says El Chapo's finest cocaine.
That'll get your heart going.
Yeah,
that's an upper.
I don't know if that's probably going to impair you, though.
Yeah, you might get suspended from the league, so...
Using PEDs.
Watch that.
Would that be PEDs or...
I think that's just drug abuse. I'm not sure they put it in the PEDs. I think that's just violating the league's drug policy.
That's just illegal.
Yeah. Depending on where you are.
Oh, man, that's
funny. Illegal here.
So I think like music is definitely it's kind of hard to think of something else, but like I just imagine like when I go to shoot hoops at the gym, I don't have my headphones on. It's just like, I get distracted because I'm hearing people talk over here. I'm still trying to focus on my shot and like my drills I'm doing, but when I have my headphones in, dude, I will dribble to the beat. I'll dribble harder than I do normally. Yeah. I will like run faster, jump higher. It's just because I'm like locked in.
Yeah,
I'm blocking the outside.
You're not
side.
overthinking it.
And
you're just there. You're doing
and I guess to give the other side of that coin, like at work, for example, where I'm doing graphic design and playing with a lot of code and stuff, I have to like really be focused. I cannot listen to music. I mean, I can like I'll turn the music on and I'll put it on my head. But I'll like put one headphone out.
Like your ringback tone?
I need to change that. It's so default. But like, no, I'll listen to normal music like, Alanis Morissette. No, just kidding. 90s R&B. Actually, that was my playlist today. 90s R&B. That's my jam. 90s R&B. That makes me feel sexy and confident.
Some R. Kelly.
Yes, he was the number one on the list. He started off the list. And I think it was called Bump and Grind. That's what it was called. But no, when I'm playing with code or like pushing pixels around, I almost can't think straight with music in my head.
No, I feel that. Yeah.
But like, so there are days where I will just not put my headphones on and I will get a lot done. I mean, I get a lot done anyways, but like with the headphones off, I just don't get distracted as easily because I'm not thinking about the lyrics or Micah on Twitch.
So my wife,
aka his wife, thinking about what food I will treat myself to after a hard day of work.
sounds like my wife, highly food motivated.
I'm a food motivated individual personally. So before a game or like during the game, I just imagine you like starting lineups are going on for the NBA and your wife is in the starting lineup and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna eat me some pizza bites after this. Oh, I'm gonna get through this. I'm gonna crush it."
So I'm gonna ask you a question, wife, and I expect an answer by the time I get home.
Oh snap!
And I'm pretty sure Kyle feels this way too. So if you're motivated by the food you're gonna get after, why is it that every damn time I ask you what you want to eat, you don't have an answer for me?
This is a question for wives everywhere.
Yeah, like apparently you're thinking about food all day, but then when it comes to decide, sorry, I'm blowing up the mic. What do you want to eat? I don't care. Okay,
and then you pick one.
Well, with her anyway, it's like I'll be like, okay, well, fine. What if we go here? She's like, well, I don't really want that. What about here? Well, we had that the other day. Well, then tell me where you want to go, because obviously you have something to say about it. I don't want to pick. Well, then we're not eating. Okay.
You're going without dinner.
But now it motivates you, so I know you're lying to me when you say you don't care. So I suspected you were. Now I know.
Quite the weekly discussion drives its real truth out of people.
You got caught.
You done got
You
caught.
done got caught.
Oh my gosh. That's hilarious. No, I mean, I've seen memes, very successful memes in the meme world, where it's like that face when you ask your wife what she wants, and she says, "I don't want anything, I'm full." And then she continues to eat your fries that you ordered through the drive-thru.
You're like, hey.
It's like, I actually make faces. Like Keltron, she'll be like, "No, I'm good." And then like bust out my fries, drive it with my fries. Yeah, I'm a badass. And then she'll like reach over and grab a handful, and I'm like,
"Excuse me, what?
Who do you think you are? Like you're a monster. You're a monster."
You want dessert? No, I just want a bite of yours.
Oh geez, Wisebot. Wisebot calls out the lurkers. I find it's kind of creepy. I might have to get rid of Wisebot. What's up, Brad? Cam?
Yeah.
Sorry. Wisebot calling out the lurkers. Welcome to the stream. But you're just onto the tail end of this here. So the question we're going to do for next week, I think the question we had for last week, that was a good one. The hype question.
Yeah, we got a lot of combo out of it.
And it happened on the same day where we introduced some hype music in our intro. So if you...
Maybe that was planned.
If you want to be here and hear some beats that get you turned up and excited, you want to show up next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Sam Grizzle, Florida versus Kentucky, 30 straight years of dominance. Go Gators. Okay, so that's what gets him excited.
Oh, okay. I
think
what?
That's his answer to the question.
Basketball? College basketball? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, basketball, football.
Well, it's got to be basketball. Kentucky's terrible at football.
That's true.
So.
Good call. Yeah, so I think about like rivalries and like when Idaho Vandals would play Boise State, that was a game that like got you excited. The whole week you're just like, I cannot wait for it. But like
That's just me with football.
It's when you get there that really makes it exciting. And I'll add to my answer before of music being a good thing. I mean, that's like everybody's answer. Mm-hmm. But a really loud crowd that is in your favor.
That and a band that's on point.
An on-point band, yes. Still music related, but just different. You more experience that than watch or listen. But so the question we're going to do for next week, so this is something you want to think about. Come back next week with an answer prepared. Yeah, that's right. We give you homework on this podcast.
What?
No, not really. But
it's pretty easy.
But I mean, when we mention it, just be thinking about it and come through next week, and we'll have a little discussion about it. I think this is probably one of the funner parts of this stream or this podcast. What's up, DJs Lambert? Hello, all new here. How you doing, man? Welcome to the stream.
Got us on the tail end of it.
So we're on the tail end. This is a podcast. We usually go for like a little over an hour. I don't see why we couldn't just keep it going, but we have lives to tend to, and
I have work tomorrow. So usually the podcast only goes for about an hour and 15 minutes lately on Twitch.
This one is a little bit longer.
Just a titch.
Probably like an hour, 45 minutes. 2 hours, actually. Holy crap. That's going to be a long upload to YouTube.
Yep.
Woo! Sorry, guys. I'm a high school football coach, so the stream title caught my eyes.
Yeah, we talked about when we upload this, or when Kyle uploads this, not we.
Yeah.
We talk about some high school sports. The question coming up is about high school.
Clover, 24-hour sports talk marathon. Let's go!
But what we were talking about is this week is the Emotion Bowl in Idaho Falls, and that is Harold is one of the top 10 inner city rivalries for high school football. So look it up.
Is that in the country?
That's what they say. I don't.
Wow.
It seems kind of weird. I think the stipulation is inner city.
Oh, okay.
Because I think like the different like Texas schools from different towns are obviously way bigger, but this is like inner city.
I wonder if like the number of years has a big part to do with that too.
Probably.
But it's like a 53-year rivalry, so
yeah, the Air Force comes in and does their whole thing. So yeah, it's near the front part of the podcast, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe it's middle because you talked about bowling for a little while. But
yeah, that's right. So after I'm done with this stream, you can go to the archived videos, archived broadcast, and you can watch that. We do talk a lot about like the importance of high school sports and what they can do for developing an individual, preparing them for real life after high school, whether it's going to college or finding a job. Ultimately, just developing human characteristics that are good. Good general
human development in a
qualities.
good way. So
Not in a detrimental way.
Ezekiel Elliott.
Doesn't how to lose. Sam Grizzle says, "What do they do to the brain? Not my kid."
Well, let's just ask the question.
The question for next week?
Yeah, question of the week.
So the question of the week for next week is, do you think high school sports are important? Why or why not?
And not just football, Sam. Sports.
Sports.
You can bring up the football thing. That's fine.
Yeah, football, baseball. I mean, think of a
Basketball,
sport.
yeah,
What do you
golf.
consider to be a sport? I mean, it's very subjective. The whole point is that it's subjective. You can have your
Debate
opinion.
team.
Debate team, yeah, it's competitive.
It is competitive.
It's educational.
It's structural. There's teams.
Yeah,
I'd say it's a sport.
yeah. I mean, in communication.
Yeah. If there's esports, I'd say debate team is
Shuffleboard?
Yeah,
Dude,
that's a precision sport. You gotta
hand-eye coordination is... Video games help with that one.
and alcohol sometimes.
Alcohol, yeah. Liquid courage. Liquid...
Not in high school. Don't drink in high school.
Yeah, only of age. 21 and over only. Jeez. So yeah, next week be thinking about why, whether you think high school sports are important and develop your opinion on why or why not. Either side of the aisle, I don't care. I'm just happy to have a discussion. Today was a great example of that. Like in this podcast, this is way longer than usual, but I'm just super stoked that people came through. We had some really cool discussions about things that we were not expecting. We're not even on our script. And when I say script, I mean outline, because I'm welcoming to those discussions. And I'm very appreciative of all you guys who came through. Be sure to hit that follow button, turn your notifications on so you know when we go live next Wednesday. This is only a once-a-week podcast because, man, it's a lot of work putting this out.
Watching him do all this makes me exhausted.
Yeah, I did talk a lot in this episode. I had some things to say, guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's better than talking to myself. At least somebody's here to listen to me. But I really do appreciate you guys coming through. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, really all the things. We'll have a little screen here, an outro with that on there. Be sure to get at us at any of those outlets. After the show's over, we also upload the audio and video to YouTube and SoundCloud. It also ends up on iTunes. Dude, we're everywhere. Okay? So just, if you want to keep up with us, you want to know when we go live, get at us on your favorite outlet. I guarantee we've got some news for you.
Yeah. You know,
So-
talk high school football there, DJ Slambert? Get at me.
Yeah. So, yeah, we got Vandal Micah on Twitter over there. It's so hard.
It's opposite. It's weird.
I am at Kyle Clay Design. I'm debating on changing my handle, by the way. Oh, yeah.
It's on the other side of the microphone.
People on SoundCloud later and be like, what the hell?
is going
I better tune into the Twitch stream.
Look at our pretty faces.
But real quick question. Do you think I should change my handle on Twitter to Abstract Kyle? It's available.
Do it.
The whole internet just took it now.
Shouldn't have said that. What am I thinking?
Well, Kyle Clay Design is like
It's really long.
Well, and it's like your design.
Well, yeah.
You're not talking design here. Even though you're showing it up, you could just add another one.
You know what?
Do you like my designs? Hire me at Kyle Clay Designs. Do you want to talk about sports? Get at me at Abstract Kyle.
See, that's hard because I'm dividing my fans, and that's also going to mess with my non-compete. I can't just take freelance projects.
Don't.
I can turn them down. It's not like...
Like what you see,
but
get it man wearing websites.
Yeah, I actually thought about putting an ad on the stream, like this podcast is brought to you by this name drop. But Abstract Kyle though is creative, has a creative tone to it, but then it's also hinting at abstract sports. That was just a random tangent. I don't know why you guys had to hear that, but it was on my mind. Get at us, Kyle Clay Design on Twitter, Vandal Micah on Twitter. But that's all I've got for you guys. Thanks for coming through. I really do appreciate it. Be sure to hit that follow button. And we out. Deuces.